All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I'm going to be your yoga instructor today. So, welcome to week 24 of this Yoga for Pregnancy series here on Wild Blue Yonder Media. So, this series is all about guiding you through the pregnancy process, helping you feel a little bit more at ease, open, and mobile in your body as you grow a tiny human. So, this series is designed where you can follow it by the gestational weeks, if that makes sense for you, or you can pop in and out of classes based on your physical ability, how the body's feeling, what all you're wanting during each week. And just make sure that you've checked with your healthcare practitioner to make sure that you're good to go to do yoga and to care for your body in this way. A couple more things to keep in mind as we move through practice today. Notice your boundaries. Where are you ready to extend into postures? Where do you need to modify and come down to the mat, or perhaps stay in your center posture? Really keeping in mind that the body's ligaments and muscles really start to loosen, especially in this lower part of the body to prepare to welcome baby and to birth it. So just not pushing too far, finding your edge, and then maybe coming back a little bit so you don't accidentally do any kind of damage. Also, keep in mind, I often don't cue water during practice. So, if and when you feel thirsty, please feel free to step off your mat, grab that drink, and join us whenever you feel ready. Finally, I just want to say welcome to any partners, friends, family members, or little family members who are joining the pregnant mother during this practice. It's always nice to practice in community, and it's really nice to have you here. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. Your legs can be crossed or they can be straight out in front of you. You can be up on a prop like a block or simply down on your mat. And we're going to wiggle back and forth to root into the sits bones. Then we'll sit up nice and tall. Let's inhale as we draw the shoulders forward and up, and then exhale as we drop them back and down. One more time. Inhale, the shoulders come forward and up. Exhale, drop them back and down. Find a comfortable spot for your hands, whether on your knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. You're welcome to close the eyes if that feels comfortable for you, or simply find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here today. And throughout this series, we've been starting our practices with a breathing practice to help you connect to your baby. So if you'd like, you're welcome to bring a hand onto your belly, a hand onto your chest here. And take a moment to simply notice the movements of the breath without changing anything. After the next exhale, take a nice full inhale through the nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air. And slowly exhale that breath back out. Inhale, fill the belly, lungs, and chest with air. Then slowly exhale that breath back out. On the next inhale, imagine drawing in all of the love that you could possibly feel for your baby and sending it to baby on the inhale. And then on the exhale, imagine baby sending all of its love that it could possibly feel out to you on the exhale. Inhale, happiness for baby. Exhale, baby's happiness for you. Inhale, joy for baby. Exhale, baby's joy for you. Inhale, elation for baby. Exhale, baby's elation for you. Inhale, excitement for baby. Exhale, baby's excitement for you. Inhale, fun for baby. Exhale, baby's fun for you. Inhale, joy for baby, or love for baby, sorry. Exhale, baby's love for you. Taking a couple more breaths just like that. Breathing in whatever it is you would like to welcome in for your baby. And then on the exhale, breathing out that very same thing from baby to you. When you've reached the end of your next exhale, go ahead and release your hands down into a comfortable spot and simply notice the movement of the breath without controlling it any longer. And then set an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale as you feel that intention with your heart and your mind. And then exhale the breath out, set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Good. Gently opening the eyes here. Go ahead and come onto the hands and the knees. Move your props out of the way if you are using one. Bringing your hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, tops of the feet come down onto the floor. Good. On the next inhale, bring your right hand to the center of the mat beneath your chest. And then exhale, sweep tall, reach up high with that left arm coming into a tabletop twist. Take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale, thread the needle, lower the left shoulder down to the floor, side of the head comes down to the mat here, getting a nice rotation through the spine, pull to the outside of that left arm. Good. And then inhale, press back up into neutral. Switch hands, left hand to the center of the mat beneath your chest. Exhale, sweep tall with the right arm, reach toward the sky. And then exhale, thread the needle, lower the right shoulder to the mat, side of the head comes down to the floor. Nice thread the needle here, getting that pull through the outside of the right arm, getting a nice twist through the spine. Inhale. Let it go. Good. Press into your left hand, coming back up into neutral. Hands meet the shoulders once more. And then on the next exhale, look over your left shoulder and crunch your left shoulder and hip toward one another. And then shrug the right ear up toward the right shoulder. So you get that nice opening through your side body here. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Good. Inhale brings you back into neutral. And then exhale, you look over the right shoulder, crunch the right shoulder and the right hip toward one another, and then shrug the left shoulder up toward the left ear. Good. Nice side body stretch on that left side here now. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Good. Inhale draws you back into neutral. On the next inhale, sink the belly, lift the head and the hips coming into cow. And then exhale, lift the back, sink the head and the hips coming into cat. Good. Inhale into cow, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Really look up toward the sky here. Exhale into cat, press the mat away, feel the shoulder blades separate, tuck the chin, look back between the legs. Inhale into cow, sink the belly, feel that decompression in the low spine. Exhale into cat, feel the nice opening through the upper spine here. Good. And then inhale, come into neutral. So let's find a good position for our back here, making sure that we're caring for our back, especially if our belly's starting to get bigger here. So go ahead and tuck the tailbone slightly and engage that core, creating a nice flat back here. You should be able to put like a dinner plate on there, right? Good. Hands are still beneath the shoulders here. On the next inhale, pick up the right foot. And then on the exhale, extend your foot straight up behind you, ball of the foot on the mat, and then press into the hand, spike that heel away from the body, coming into your calf stretch. Good. Hips are square at the floor. Notice the tendency of that right hip to kind of float up toward the sky and see if you can really get those hips in line with the floor here. Ooh, you're going to notice that's going to deepen the stretch right away. Elbows are slightly bent and kind of rotating in toward the midline here. That's going to help keep your core engaged. Good. Nice deep breath. Good. Inhale, bring your weight back onto that left knee and then extend your right leg out to a 90-degree angle from your body. I'll turn to the side so you can see this a little bit easier here. Good. So that leg is out, sole of the foot's on the floor, toes are down. And then on the next exhale, sink your hips back toward your left heel, elongate the arms, forehead comes down to the floor for this leg extended child's pose here. So we're feeling a really nice deep stretch in through the inside of that right leg here. We're allowing the torso to drop down, adjusting this left leg as you need to accommodate the belly. Taking a couple deep breaths here. Ooh, feeling that nice opening through the inside of the leg. Great. And then inhale brings us back up into neutral. I'm going to turn back to the side here. We're then going to swing that leg forward. Good. And then inhale, come up into a neutral position. You may want to grab a prop like a block or be nearby a sturdy surface like a folding chair or a nice sturdy coffee table. So we're going to make sure that our foot is out at a bit of an angle. We should be able to see our shin from this perspective. Good. We'll inhale as we lengthen through the spine. Exhale as we sink down gently into this low lunge, using blocks for support as you need. Now, keeping in mind, not sinking super deep right away, finding your edge, pulling back slightly here. We don't want to hurt the body. We don't want to overextend ourselves as we're really starting to stretch out through this pelvic region. Now, you can stay here if you'd like. You're welcome to inhale, bend that left knee, draw the heel in toward the body. You can also reach around and grab that foot, pulling the heel in. You can always switch your block to the other hand, or you don't have to use one at all. Totally up to you. Taking a nice deep breath in this quad stretch, in this low lunge. Good. Inhale, release that back foot. Go ahead and shift your weight onto that back knee, straighten the front leg, flex the front foot here. I'm going to switch my block back into my left hand just to kind of counteract the balancing here of my weight. Leg is nice and straight, foot is flexed, just a very slight bend in the knee. We'll inhale, lengthen through the spine, create that nice flat back, and then exhale, hinge at the hips, lean forward with the heart center, come into dragon pose on this right side. Ooh, we're feeling it. So we're getting a nice deep stretch through the back of that right leg here. We're pushing forward with the heart center instead of the nose, keeping that back flat. So we're not only protecting the back here, we're keeping that core gently engaged, but we're getting that deepest stretch possible from the heel all the way up into the hip capsule. Checking with this left hip, see if you can draw it toward the top of the mat, squaring off the hips. Woo, that deepens it, brings it right into the outside of the hip now, along that IT sciatica area. Let's take a nice deep breath. Good. And then inhale, go ahead, come forward onto that front foot, step that knee back. Excellent work. And then let's go ahead and just set your prop out to the side. So we're going to come onto the opposite side now. So once again, hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. Good. Tops of the feet are on the floor. Tuck the tailbone slightly, engage that core. Nice flat back here. On the next inhale, lift the left foot, and then exhale, extend it straight out behind you. Drop the ball of the foot onto the mat, and then press into the hand, spiking that heel away from the body. Good. Woo, getting that calf stretch here. Elbows are slightly bent. They're drawing in toward the midline. That helps keep the core engaged. And notice the tendency of that left hip to float up and see if you can keep it squared with the mat here. Good. Nice deep breath. If you're like me, you didn't realize how tight your calves are. Good. Inhale brings you onto that right knee, and then exhale, extend your left leg straight out to the side at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to stay at this side because you can see it a little easier this time. Sole of the foot is on the floor here. Toes are facing the same direction as fingers. Inhale, and then exhale, sink your hips back toward your right heel, coming into this extended leg. Child's pose here. Forehead comes down toward the floor, does not have to touch. We're now feeling that stretch through the inside of the left leg. Ooh, nice deep opening here. Again, adjusting the right leg as you need to accommodate your belly. Couple deep breaths. Wonderful. Inhale brings you back up into neutral here. And we're going to slide that left leg so it's straight out in front of you, coming up into a neutral position. So again, grabbing your block here. I'm going to keep it on my left side here just for the lunge to get started. So block is down on the mat, have it on the high side. Make sure that your foot is out at a bit of an angle. You should be able to see your shin from this position here. Excuse me. We'll take a nice deep inhale as we lengthen through the spine, and then exhale as we hinge at the hips and sink down here. So again, coming into this low lunge, I know for me, this is not as deep as I normally can get, but being mindful here, noticing, are you reaching an edge? And if you are, pull back slightly here so we're not pushing too far. Now, you can stay right here. If you'd like, you're welcome to bend that right knee, draw the foot in toward the glute, and you can also reach your right hand back to grab that glute here. So noticing what feels right for your body, using that left hand on the block for support as you need. It can also just be on the leg if that feels better. Couple deep breaths here. Good. And then inhale, release that foot down, shift your weight onto the back leg, straighten that front or back knee, straighten that front leg, flex the front foot. I'm switching the block over to my right hand here just to create a little counterbalance in my weight distribution. That front leg is straight, just very slight bend in the knee, toes pulling in. Inhale, we lengthen through the spine. Exhale, we hinge at the hips, lean forward at the heart center, coming into dragon on this opposite side. So again, notice the tendency of the nose to reach down instead of the heart. See if you can keep that back as flat as possible here and press forward at the heart center. When you do, that deepens that stretch of the back side of that left leg here. Notice the tendency of that right hip to float back and see if you can square it with the top of the mat. Ooh, so now we're feeling that stretch all the way through the outside of the leg, the hip. It's a whole experience here. So let's take a couple deep breaths. Good. And inhale brings you back onto that front foot. If you've got a second block, go ahead and grab it. Shift your weight onto both knees here. Great. So you want your knees about hip width distance apart, and we're going to step our blocks out in front of us. I like to have them on the highest setting here. And we're going to bring our triceps, so the back of our upper arms, down onto the top of the blocks here. So stepping yourself down however you need to get there. My elbows tend to hang off just the top, so it gives a nice sturdy position here. We're then grounding into the knees, engage that core here. You can start out with your arms extended, either palms together or like you're holding an invisible beach ball. Now, if this is enough of a stretch through the upper body, enough of a heart opener here, you're welcome to stay here. To deepen that stretch and sensation, you can bring those fingertips to touch. And then, like an old-timey elevator indicator, you can start to bring those fingers moving up and around in a half moon, eventually pointing toward your back. Now, that is going to deepen the stretch dramatically here. So, moving slow. Again, even though our upper body isn't preparing to give birth, our body's still going through a lot of change. So, finding those edges, not pushing past them, not getting too deep. And you're in a little bit of an inversion here. So, taking a couple deep breaths. Even though as baby grows, diaphragmatic breathing gets a little bit more difficult here. See if you can still cultivate creating that space in your body, allowing the breath to flow in. Good. Inhale, go ahead, pressing the back of the arms, step one up and then the other. Great work before going ahead and moving those blocks out of the way here. Really nice work here. Okay, we're going to come down into a seated position here. I'm going to be at a little bit of an angle so you can kind of see how my body's positioned here and what all we're doing. But feet are about hip width distance apart, knees are in little mountains, and we're going to lean back onto the hands. Fingers can point out or in or whatever direction, does not really matter here. And then we're going to windshield wipe the knees back and forth, bringing the knees to touch the ground, the mat, on either side here. This is a great little hip opener. It's also a great mobility exercise, especially nice during pregnancy when we start to get, a lot of things are changing. Sometimes we can get a little crusty in that area in terms of like the muscles seeming to like calcify or, the bone structure changing slightly as we get ready to accommodate babies. So moving back and forth like this is a great posture to do before you go to bed. It's awesome to do before you work out. And it's a great way just to kind of keep some mobility in your hips here. Moving as fast or slow as you want, really feeling your weight rotate back and forth across your sits bones as you do this. Good. And then inhale, coming up into neutral. We're going to make our way down onto the mat for final relaxation. So if you need to put on a jacket, socks, you need to grab a drink of water or towel off before final relaxation. Now is your moment to do so. We will not sit up for the rest of our practice today. Okay? So making your way down into final relaxation, if you're able to still be on your back, you're welcome to take that traditional pose. Otherwise, if you're further along into the second trimester, moving into the third here, you may want to just go ahead and stay on the side instead. So slowly using your arms to help you lower down here. Now you can have a hand or an arm beneath the head. You can also grab a prop like a block to place underneath your head. Depending on how big the belly is, it may be nice to lift the belly and slide a block underneath the belly here. It's an option, it's not a requirement, but that can be just a nice little release, especially for the low back here, to have something else holding that weight up here. Finding a comfortable spot for your arms here. And just starting to settle in, making any adjustments that will allow you to feel as comfortable as possible. And then remembering that you can always treat this final part of practice like a seated meditation. So if you prefer, especially if you have heartburn, um, you're always welcome to just return to a seated position here and find that comfortable seat. So whatever position you choose, beginning to settle in here and tuning into the breath. Begin to notice how fast or slow your breath is moving, how deep or shallow it is. Noticing the quality of each breath on the inhales, the quality of each breath on the exhales. Noticing the gentle rise and fall of your belly, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. And allowing that air to move in and out of your nose, up and down your throat. Resting your attention gently on the breath here. Now, if you find that your mind wanders off on a thinking adventure, that's okay. It happens to the best of us. So celebrate the fact that you noticed that you wandered away and then come back to your breath, come back to the inhales and exhales. Now, if it feels right for you, perhaps incorporating a mantra to help you stay grounded and focused on the breath here. Inhale, I am. Exhale, introspective. Inhale, I am. Exhale, introspective. Remaining here with the breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments today. I'm going to get quiet for this final part of practice so you can have it yourself. Please know that I'm watching the time and I respect yours, and I will let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So lean back, let go, and just rest right here with your baby. In true love, there is no place for pride. Bringing your awareness back to this space, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air, before slowly exhaling that breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Move your arms and legs, gently waking your body up. And when it feels right for you, rolling onto one side, pausing there with an arm or a hand beneath the head if you're on your back, or simply pausing here if you're already on your side. And bringing back to mind your intention or your purpose that you said at the beginning of your practice that answered the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale as you make your way on up into a seated position, and we close out our practice together today. So finding your comfortable seat, rooting into the sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, the shoulders come forward and up. Exhale, we drop them back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on your knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. You're welcome to bring them to heart center and close the eyes if you'd like. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on Earth and for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including yoga and growing a tiny human. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for week 24 of this Yoga for Pregnancy series. I hope you're feeling a little bit more at ease and open in your body. Make sure to like and subscribe to Wild Blue Yonder Media. That's my channel. And if you enjoyed this practice, please share it with another pregnant gal or someone you know. There's lots of non-pregnancy related classes and practices on my channel. That's how more people learn about us or learn about me. In addition, I also have a podcast, Wild Blue Yonder Meditations, where you can learn and do all kinds of breathing, mindfulness, meditation practices. And this can support you in and outside of pregnancy. So definitely check those out. Bring all of that practice and that well-being into the body, mind, and this in the spirit as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you in week 25 of this series. Have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next practice. Bye.